Just a few days ago, Gearbox breathed life back into Gigantic, announcing Gigantic Rampage Edition, and immediately after hit us all with the playtest, limited access, closed beta. The correct name is somewhere in there, I swear to you. So let's go ahead and have a quick discussion about how this whole beta thing actually went down. The last time I made a video about Gigantic, I guessed that Gearbox would be giving it a second chance. A day later, Gearbox announced that Gigantic is officially back with Gigantic Rampage Edition. It felt pretty cool to be validated, but I mean, there was a huge amount of evidence, so it wasn't too hard for me to comb through everything. Maybe a few hours, really, to figure out exactly what I thought was going to happen. But what I didn't guess was they would do a playtest immediately, and I can tell you, the game feels like it did back in the day. It feels like very little has changed, at least from memory. It's been a long freaking time. I'm very aware that there are a lot of die-hard Gigantic fans out there, and I'm so happy for you. You might be disappointed to hear that it is not the MOBA that has my heart. Battleborn was my favorite MOBA of all time. So to say I'm just a little bittersweet that they decided to go with Gigantic instead of Battleborn is an understatement. Now, if they announced a Battleborn revival, I'd pay $60 for it. Apparently, they plan to ask $20 for Gigantic Rampage Edition. There's some pros and cons to this, honestly. To some, it might seem like there's a lot of cons to that. Not a lot of people are eager to pay money for a MOBA. That doesn't really exist. There's not many MOBAs out there like that. I can't name one, can you? If you can, you know a lot about MOBAs. Congratulations. Does that MOBA even have a healthy population? To say charging money for this game is risky is very much an understatement. It's not like $20 is going to break the bank. It's 2 battle passes, and I believe there won't be any microtransactions, which to some people may seem like a first for them in their gaming life. There's still a couple of months before the game is actually going to be released, so we may hear about new additions, new characters. That actually brings up a good point. Are they going to be able to make new characters, maps, modes going on for so long, or do we have a lifespan on that? If that's the case, that's fine. You know what you're getting when you pay that $20. And there's proof that there are people that will continue to play with a limited amount of new options or none at all. There's a community on Discord that have been playing this game privately since the servers went down. So obviously those people don't have to go through that anymore and will be able to just play whenever they feel like it. Even if it's 5 years down the line, they've added nothing and miraculously the servers are still up. Now, I'm not saying to change the price tag, but maybe over time that could be a good idea. If it starts as pay to play and then like a year or two goes by and then it goes free to play, maybe 1 or 2 years down the line, you could have like a 3rd or 4th chance to get some popularity with the game if it doesn't come out hot, which I'm not sure it will, because it feels like it's catering just to the hardcore fans. So I don't think they're expecting to really gain a lot of new fans anyways. And if they are, they're not going about it the right way. But I don't want to harp too much on the price tag. I mean, that is definitely the talk of the town when it comes to this. If I was to just give my honest feelings on that, I don't think it's a good idea. I think free to play is the way to do a MOBA or most online games. We're kind of in the day and age where microtransactions are accepted. You could make an argument they tried free to play and it still failed, so let them make a little bit of money and then see how long they want to keep the lights on. But me personally, I think free to play is smart. I mean, what's the competition right now? Overwatch has been bleeding itself dry steadily since the launch of Overwatch 2. Blizzard continues to make the wrong moves in every single department. I mean, they haven't done one thing right since Overwatch 2 came out, or probably like a year or two before Overwatch 2 came out. It's just been a steady decline in quality and experience. That's for the hero shooter side of things. Now, for the MOBA side of things, you've got stuff like League of Legends or Smite. Both are notorious for toxic communities. I think MOBAs are inherently toxic because of team cohesion. If you're not able to play as a team correctly, people are going to start blaming people. People are going to start getting upset when those people they're blaming aren't listening. And then the last match that had that happening, and the 5 matches prior to that had that happening. And if that just keeps happening every day, you go in with a mindset to be upset, and really the only way to get out of that is to just turn off team chat or voice chat or whatever, and then you're not really getting a lot of cooperative action, and then you start making mistakes maybe, but not always. It's not always the case. The toxic players will tell you that is always the case, but it's not. Either way, League of Legends, Smite, they're older too, so it's hard to feel like you're coming in at the right time. It's too late for you. They've been going for so long, and even if someone says, oh, you can jump in whenever, sure, you missed out on all the good years, and now it's just kind of coasting. I don't know much about League of Legends or Smite, so I don't know if that's true. I do have some homies that love Smite, so I can't say exactly. I mean, Swabby Mente could speak on that. It's not like I was going to do like a cutaway to Swabby, but I'm not. Gameplay-wise, it does feel pretty smooth. As expected, I felt the need to gravitate towards one kit that I really understood before trying to mess around with too many kits. I ended up really enjoying my time with Taito the Swift, which I never really played him in the original launch, so that was really interesting to actually latch onto someone different. I actually preferred to play as Vodin and Mozu back then, and I haven't actually even touched them since I started playing the playtest, which is only 2 days long, so I'm probably just going to play Taito the whole time, because so far he's the only hero that makes it feel like I'm making a difference in the match. But I will say this, it is addicting. I didn't really want to stop. I was only playing by myself because no one else I know was able to get into the playtest, which is really unfortunate, but that is how a closed beta works. I have a feeling they'll do an open beta soon. If the next one is closed again, the one after that's got to be an open one, or maybe the first weekend is going to be free. That would be smart, but then people might just get it out of their systems, or you'll hook them. You might hook them. That might be a good way to drive popularity. I think Gearbox, you should start taking ideas from me, bud. A weird thing I liked in the settings was all of the audio options. I find a lot of games have like 3 or 4 audio options, sometimes just main volume and like background volume or music volume. This has like everything. I just want to mention I really like that. If I was planning to stay playing Gigantic for a long time, I would really tweak those settings perfectly, and that's cool. A lot of games don't give that kind of accessibility for hearing and sound bullshit, dude. Once you start playing, you do kind of get the feeling that the game feels a little old. It doesn't feel like they've really added anything, but because of that, you do have a really large roster of characters to play with, and the maps seem really versatile and different when you go through them. Right now, they're only letting us play the charge game mode, the quick play one, so we haven't really got to experience everything they have to offer. Maybe there'll be some new stuff they'll squeeze in there. Not that MOBAs have a whole lot of variety when it comes to game modes or anything, but I've seen some people make the complaint that why should I pay money for a game that I've already fully experienced back in the day, and it wasn't enough to keep me back then. That right there leads us back to that this is probably strictly for the hardcore fans. I don't know, Gearbox would never say that out loud, but that's the vibe you get. It might just make a hardcore fan out of me. Like I said in my last video, I don't want to be disrespectful and act like I'm some sort of super fan. I enjoyed it when it was out, but I wasn't like stalking it. I would just check up on it here and there. No matter what, it's time to celebrate a community that was able to withstand the straight up death of their game that seemed like nothing could bring it back, because that's usually how it goes with games as a service games. Even if they have a timetable before this all goes away again, at least you're being given this. This is so much more than what we get with other games. Like I said, Battleborn was my MOBA, and that's a game I miss all the time. I loved playing it. I put thousands of hours in it. I was a lunatic for that game. I'll never get this treatment. I know it. It looks like it only ever had a 12,000 all-time peak on Steam charts, which is not a lot. Granted, it was a console game, but I do remember getting a lot of hate for enjoying it back then, which is just gamer shit, really. So to the Gigantic community and any fly on the wall that might be stopping by, peeking in to see what this is all about, let's have fun with this, man. Let's just see where this goes, because this is cool. It's an experience. Wow. I really can't stop yapping. Just like Gearbox, I never know when to quit. Except right now, because I'm done talking to you. Bye. I'm gonna suck this guy's dick.